we have a speaking and hilarious Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. How exactly did we get here, and what does it mean for the future of the MCU? Well, let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. Guys, I'm super duper hype on Thor Ragnarok. It was actually my favorite trailer from San Diego Comic-Con, and I actually have not got a chance to sit down and do a specific video about anything in that trailer or that we heard about from the movie. Just kind of been busy taking care of other things, talking about different things, but this will be the first video about Thor Ragnarok, and I want to talk about Hulk in particular. I want to talk about the fact that Hulk is speaking, and he's speaking in the third person, which is amazing. So the way this is going to go down is I'm going to talk about some things that were said at San Diego with regards to Hulk, the character, the growth he's been on, and a sort of explanation for why he's speaking and where he's at as a character. And then I'm going to finish up the video by talking about what this exactly means for the future of the MCU, which I think is actually pretty cool. I think that it has made some certain things possible now that maybe weren't before, and I'm actually pretty hype on it. So you probably already know this, but post San Diego, it came out that during the panel, Taika Waititi was sort of talking about Hulk and exactly how he was able to speak, and he said that Hulk has not turned back to Banner for over 2 years. So for 2 years, Hulk has been Hulk, and Banner has been in the background in his mind. Now that's just super intriguing, like in and of itself, but the explanation was given that Hulk has the vocabulary of about a 2-year-old now, because he's been cognitive and in the world for about 2 years in a row. So this really kind of begs a ton of different interesting questions. I mean, has Hulk been alive for maybe mere minutes? How exactly does that work? What is the age, mind, body connection here for when you're in the back or when you're in the front? A lot of this will be answered in the movie, I think. I mean, when Hulk turns back into Banner, what he says about his time while Hulk was the main guy, that's, you know, a really, really interesting thing. I think it's going to explain a lot about Hulk in the MCU. But the most interesting part to me is that this kind of implies that Hulk and Banner are separating in some way. Now, this was kind of always established in the MCU, but it was never really clean. Like, we never knew exactly what the status of Hulk and Banner were. Things happen in the movies where they say things like the other guy, right? I mean, Banner classically talks about his suicide attempt with the other guy, you know, referring to Hulk as another person, you know what I mean? But there are also examples where people refer to Banner and Hulk as the same thing. Iron Man says things like, Banner better suit up. Black Widow says, along comes this guy who avoids the fight because he knows he'll win. That's referring to a single person. That's referring to Bruce. So even, you know, the idea of the lullaby and the relationship with Black Widow sort of implies that Hulk and Banner were the same person. So I think we're cleaning that up a bit, and I think that basically Dr. Banner is kind of on like a spiritual journey of sorts, and he went to Sakaar, and he's perhaps conversing with Hulk a little bit more. I would like to believe that Banner played a role in allowing Hulk to be there for 2 years in a row, like that maybe Banner recognized what other people couldn't recognize, that the Hulk is its own being and it needs to live and be and experience things, you know what I mean? So I think that we're going to get a separation of sorts for the character of Hulk. So I think that basically what we're going to get, you know, they said that the relationship between Black Widow and the Hulk, and Bruce, would no longer kind of be a thing. And I think that this is probably why. Because if the Hulk, first of all, is a separate thing and it recognizes that Bruce's love of this girl is so strong that it like stops his rage, he's gonna hate her. And B, I think Bruce is gonna recognize that his needs can't just be the thing that drives them, that they are two people sharing the same body and they have to come to some kind of an agreement and work on things. There's also a possibility here, which I'll get to later in the video, that Hulk was making some babies and doing some other things on Sakaar that you can imagine Black Widow wouldn't be super cool with. I mean, if Bruce Banner, the man she loves, has a child, either legitimate or illegitimate, a big green monster child with an alien from Sakaar, yeah, that's gonna be a really tricky situation, you know, like when you're swiping on Tinder and you see it says in the profile, like, I have kids, if that's a problem, swipe left. I don't know, Black Widow kind of strikes me as a girl who might swipe left if you've got a Hulkling baby or a Scar baby, sort of thing, which is kind of funny. But it's very, very cool, man. I think that I'm intrigued by the fact that we're gonna see Hulk sort of grow up. I think that that's gonna kind of be a thing, that you're gonna see Hulk on this journey to becoming a little bit smarter. Now, I don't think he's ever gonna get quite to the level of, you know, certain times in the comics where he's the Gray Hulk and he's really, really intelligible. There have been moments in the comics where he has the full intellect of Banner while he's the Hulk, which was kind of a relatively recent thing, calling himself Dr. Green, I think. Kind of a weird thing. I don't think we'll ever quite get there. Because A, I don't think it's very useful. It doesn't do much for the fabric of the films, but B, like, that would be really tricky to animate a perfectly eloquent speaking Hulk. I'm sure that what happens in the face is kind of a tricky situation with the Hulk. So let me talk about now what I think this means for the MCU. Well, first of all, I think the first thing to bring to mind is that it makes Hulk a more effective ally. It makes Hulk a better addition to the Avengers because he'll be able to take orders a little bit more and be more communicative when they are in battle. I mean, like, you know, Captain America literally just points at him in the first Avengers and says, Hulk, smash. And granted, Hulk does go and smash, but you can even see a progression of this in sort of when you go to the next Avengers film, where Black Widow says something about taking care of a bunker and Hulk comes in and smashes it. So Hulk is already at least able to put together sort of what people are talking about. But if we get an intelligible Hulk, he's going to be much more useful as a member of the Avengers, which to me is super exciting because Hulk can do way more than just smash, and I don't mean I want him to not smash and like go figure out like a secret code somewhere or do some puzzle. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, like, it can be more than just him smashing a bunch of baddies. Like, if Hulk needs to go beat on a barrier of some kind that's unbreakable, you could see him going and doing that and getting angry and stronger and stronger and stronger. You can also see an opportunity where they do things to make him more angry on purpose to make him more powerful. The Hulk is pretty much unlimited in strength, so it would be kind of cool if we could get a little bit more of that flavor. I also think another thing this means for the MCU is that we'll basically just get way more Hulk one-liners. I mean, third-person Hulk one-liners are amazing. At the end of this trailer where he's talking about Hulk is like raging fire and you know, Thor is like water, that's so funny. It's hilarious, and there have been a lot of great lines from Hulk in the comics and also in the animated series. Hulk Agents of Smash is a good example of that if you've never checked it out. There can be some really funny back and forth between Hulk and other people if he can truly speak well and speak in the third person. I also think, most importantly, that this kind of thing could make Hulk a major player in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We can utilize him as more of a character. I mean, Ruffalo said at Comic-Con, and you know, it was so awesome of him to be this candid, but he said that because of Universal having distribution rights, which he didn't exactly know what he was talking about, but essentially because Universal has distribution rights on a Hulk film, and they can't play nice with Marvel, we'll probably never see a solo Hulk movie. But Thor Ragnarok has included parts of Planet Hulk, parts of Jack Kirby's Thor Ragnarok, parts of the Grand Master and the Contest of Champions, and all these amazing storylines kind of homogenized and combined into one story. And the Hulk is a major aspect of this film. Him being able to speak is an important part of that formula. So we could see Hulk really becoming a player. What I would love to see is Hulk snap off. Maybe he goes back to Sakaar eventually down the line and it is, you know, it dies, or you set up another scenario similar to the Illuminati betraying him, and then you have Hulk literally become the world breaker Hulk. I want to see something like that, or maybe even Elseworld versions of the Hulk. You could have some of the great Hulk stories kind of blended in with some of these other character stories, and they would be great Hulk stories. Look, the Hulk they established before was just this kind of mindless monster, and you couldn't really do some of the things that were done in comics with him, because in order to make the transition for casual audiences, we created the Hulk as a monster and gave him very little to say. I also think the technology was improving over time, and now we have the ability to have a really full-blown Hulk that like speaks his mind, speaks in third person, and is really dope. So I think we might see Hulk as a major player in future installments for the MCU. That's pretty much the last major implication, I think, for the MCU. I think it's amazing that we're gonna get all this comic book flavor in the movies. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has a perfect way of taking these ideas and making them make sense to casual audiences. Like, we will understand by the end of Thor Ragnarok why Hulk is speaking, why he's able to do that. Everybody will be able to do that, or will be able to understand that. Grandmothers, young kids, everybody will know. And that's beautiful. And the journey we've been on doesn't lose any of its steam. Like, you won't look back on the previous versions of the Hulk and be like, oh, they retconned that. Oh man, that's pretty messy continuity. No, it all makes sense. And it's just one more reason why the MCU is just this amazing, unprecedented thing. And I'm super excited about it. So that is all I wanted to talk about with regards to the Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. What do you guys think? Are you super pumped to see this jolly green giant raging out, fighting the Fenris Wolf, fighting Surtur, fighting Thor? Holy crap, it's gonna be amazing. Let me know in the comment section. And if there's something you want me to talk about on the channel with regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Extended Universe, comic books, anime, whatever, leave that in the comment section, guys. It might just get covered in a video that I've got coming out. I'm more than willing to do some stuff that you guys will find interesting. So let me know that and what you think about Hulk in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya!